This is Hypercolor by Bizzaro and Penguin Magic, and it's a new effect based on the color-changing Triumph plot. Is this effect awesome or terrible? Get your popcorn, because today we're going to find out. Let's do a performance of Hypercolor. Everything about this deck of cards is a lie. I'll have my spectator, as I go through, just call out stop anytime they want. Let's say they say stop there. So they look at that card, remember it, and we're going to place it on the table right there. Now, we're actually going to mix up the cards, but not in the way you normally do. We're going to mix them up face up into face down, like this, a pharaoh shuffle. Perfectly interlaced. Now that the deck is jumbled up, we're going to take your card and place it back in the middle. So now there's face up cards, there's face down cards, there's more face up cards, there's back to back cards, and the deck is fully jumbled. But the moment I snap my fingers, you'll see the whole deck returns to original, all face up except one. And that is your card. But I said everything about the deck of cards is a lie, which means the color is not really blue. It's actually red. In fact, every single card here, every one, all of those are red. That's Hypercolor. Thank you to Penguin Magic for sending this to me to review for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that performance. First of all, I'd like to let all my distributors and creators know, if you'd like me to review your product, please contact me at bfnmail@gmail.com. I also do free Magic monthly giveaways, and all you have to do to be eligible is hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's talk about Hypercolor. What do you get when you buy Hypercolor? When you buy it, you will receive this plastic bag. Inside the bag, you get one handmade gimmicked card, one other gimmicked card, and one regular random blue-backed bicycle card. These gimmicks work with a red bicycle rider back deck of cards. In addition to the gimmicks, you'll receive a card with a link to the tutorial on the p3magic.com website. The tutorial is 24 minutes, but we'll talk about that more shortly. What is the quality of the gimmick? There are two gimmicked cards and they are different. The first gimmick will allow the deck to visually turn all face up. The other will allow you to make the deck of cards change color, and then you can spread through every single card without any block pushes, showing they are red. There are no block pushes, as I said, or anything like that. You can really show every card. Both of the gimmicks will eventually wear out, but for different reasons. The first gimmick will eventually break, and it could possibly even mid-performance. The second gimmick will wear out, but more slowly. You'll notice it wearing out. The issue with the first gimmick is that the card you receive will vary. If you're lucky enough to receive a face card as the gimmick, the gimmick should be completely invisible. However, if you don't get a face card, the gimmick may be seen by the audience. The second gimmick can also be fixed. It's made out of a popular material that most magicians have. However, you will have to provide your own red bicycle deck of cards for the trick. So both gimmicks are repairable. Most magicians have the tools to repair it. Now, how is the tutorial? The tutorial is downloadable and streamable. It's Bizarro. There are multiple camera angles. He teaches multiple handlings of the effect, including some with gimmicks not included in the package. He teaches you a deck switch as well, which is pretty cool. What are the angles like with Hypercolor? The angles for this effect are about 180 degrees. You won't want people behind you, or they will see the preview of the method. They'll see what the get ready before the visual change. However, if you're holding the deck very close to your chest, I guess you could, but it's not ideal. Now, in the tutorial, are there any live performances? Unfortunately, there are no live performances in the tutorial. However, there is a studio performance at the beginning of the tutorial, which you can see in the trailer for Hypercolor. Is this examinable? The deck of cards can be spread through without a block push or anything like that. The deck is all examinable except for two cards, the top and the bottom card. If you're able to ditch those, the deck of cards is examinable. If once the trick was done, you cut the deck and handed it to your spectator, they could probably casually inspect and spread through the cards, but if they're spreading vigorously and trying to figure out the method, they'll see something. But you can casually show both sides of the deck. You can spread through the faces, the backs, and they won't find anything. Now, let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of hypercolor. How hard is this effect to do? I'd say it's about beginner, but it's a bit knacky. What's knacky is preparing the gimmick and making sure the gimmick doesn't activate prematurely, holding it in place. However, the gimmicks do most of the heavy lifting for you. It's very practical and should work in almost all performing situations, unless one of the gimmicks breaks mid-performance. The gimmick most likely won't break mid-performance, however, because even if it did, the trick would still work because I double up on the material used. So if one piece of the material breaks, I just stop doing the trick. But there's still one piece of material that causes the effect to work. But yeah, this works well on close-up, parlor, walk around, table to table, and more. Is there any DIY? There will eventually be DIY, as both of the gimmicks will eventually wear out. The first gimmick requires a bit more DIY than the color changing deck gimmick. The color changing deck gimmick only requires you to reapply the material on the card. You could not do the DIY in front of the audience. You'd have to do it, you need precision, and I would not do it in a performing situation or even in a washroom or something. I'd wait till I get home from the performance and just do it there. But yeah, there is some DIY eventually. How much pocket space is required? All you have to do is add to a regular red deck of cards. All you have to do is add a couple of gimmicked cards. Therefore, it takes up only about 3 cards in pocket space, so not much. What is the reset like? The reset for this effect is instant. However, if you want to ditch the gimmicks from the deck, you have to bring the cards back to the deck and put them where they should be, and you could probably do it in front of your audience while you're talking or under the table or something, so that makes it a lot easier. Now let's see if the trailer and ad copy are honest. The trailer, it's relatively honest, but it does say that all the cards in the deck can be fully examined following the effect. Only the top and bottom cards are the gimmicked cards, so most of the deck can be examined, but not all of them. What I'd do is I'd spread the deck and I'd give a few people, or a few cards to each people, but not the gimmicked cards, and they can all examine that, so they think they're all examining the full deck of cards when they're only examining a few. Now, the ad copy. The ad copy states, tell them that you aren't going to find their card. Tell them you aren't going to shuffle the cards. Tell them it's a blue deck. All of this is a lie. You do find their card from a deck that has been shuffled face up into face down. And then right before their eyes, the entire deck changes in midair from blue to red. From one of the wildest minds in Magic comes the final answer to the color-changing triumph effect. This is Hypercolor by Bizarro. Here's what happens. You introduce a blue deck of cards. Your spectator selects a card. The deck is shuffled face up into face down. The card is lost into the deck. The deck then visually sorts itself out with the exception of the selection. It's an impossible kicker. Every single card changes from blue to red in midair. Hypercolor is a dream to perform because it's been road tested by one of Magic's hardest working magicians. The gimmick is easy to use and can be added to your deck in an instant. To perform this highly visual multi-phase effect, the audience feels like they can actually see the fronts and backs of every card in the deck before the amazing color change. The best part is that the gimmick can be stolen out and the rest of the deck is ordinary, so you can follow up this incredible effect with your favorite card tricks. Take one of Bizarro's most vivid tricks out to get incredible reactions when you perform Hypercolor. Yeah, that's honest, because it's very transparent. It even tells you you need to take the gimmick out of the deck and the deck is examinable. So yeah, that's a transparent ad copy. Now, how much does Hypercolor cost? Hypercolor costs $25 US. Is this worth it? It is a bit expensive for what you get, but it's worth it, definitely. This is something very fun to perform, and it actually does get pretty good reactions on magicians as well. I showed this to a couple magician friends and they were fooled. Now, What are the pros and cons of hypercolor? The pros are this is very visual, a combination of two classic Magic plots, Triumph and the color changing deck. Both very good tricks. Oh, by the way, there's a trick, Prism Plus by Josh J. I'm reviewing it soon. It's a bit similar to this. It shares some similarities. Also, hypercolor is fun to perform. The tutorial is great. It has multiple handlings. This is relatively easy to do. You can spread through the whole deck and show that it's red. There's no block pushes or anything like that. You don't need too much pocket space. This is a magician fooler, and yeah, that's it for the pros. What are the cons of hypercolor? The cons are, I guess, that the deck is not examinable without a ditch. Well, most of it is, but not all of them. Also, I guess the price. This could have been maybe $20 or something, but the price isn't bad. It's definitely worth it. I think if they included the deck of cards you need, so you get everything ready to go out of the box, this would be an absolute bargain of a price. Maybe they could have even charged $30 for this and it still would have been a great price. But this is a very, very good effect. And now, what percent does this get? Hypercolor gets a 90%. It's very cool and a very, very fun to perform effect. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.